Hello everyone. This is a video to show some of the improvements on the ICD, or the IronCAD Drawing environment for 2016 PU1. So let's go into a drawing. I'm going to go ahead and create a new drawing, and this is ICD again. And we're going to go ahead and select a file size. Let's just do a C-size continuation. And one of the improvements that we added for this release was the standard view creation. If you notice, when you come into the standard view, it's your normal process here. So if we go ahead and say we want to pick a particular file, like this configuration file, and whatever orientation, all this stuff is still the same capabilities in here. And you typically would select your 4 views and you would hit OK, and it would basically auto scale to this sheet, or use one of the standard size and scale it to your drawing and fit it inside this drawing file format. There is a new option down the bottom that says auto place dependent views. Okay, so that option will be checked by default, which is the old behavior. If you uncheck this and hit OK, this gives you the ability to place these individually where you want. And just to give you a note, one other addition, while you're in this mode, you can hit the up and down keys on your keyboard to change through the standard scale sizes. So you notice my view border is getting larger and smaller. So maybe I wanted to create multiple views on this drawing. I'm going to create a smaller view here, and then I can manually just place these however I like. I can move them closer, further away if I wanted spacing, however I wanted to place those in my sheet arrangement. So then if I wanted to create another view, I could do so up here, different scale. So those two enhancements, to place the view in any location and to set the scale, give you a nice option to really speed up your view creation capabilities. Another enhancement, and let me get rid of this, is the ability to do some BOM associations based on your view. So let's go ahead and create a couple more views here. So I have this fence door arrangement out here that we can see. I'm just going to create a isometric view of that, and I'll place that one up there, and then I'll create another standard view of just the door itself, and I just want to do a front view of that. I'll place that over here, maybe a little smaller, maybe a little bigger so I can see it, a little bigger over there so I can see what's going on. Okay, so you can see that we've got two different views here. You could always create different configurations in the past, where you could say this is view 1, configuration full assembly, view 2 door assembly. You can go and create those configurations in your 3D and do that, and then create BOMs based on configurations. You can do that. Now we provided another ways. If you could have multiple parts, different files inside of here, and you can basically do a bill of materials based on the view, or what's visible in that view. So you could have even one scene, something suppressed, not suppressed, and create your bill of materials. So for example, if you just hit bill of materials, nothing's selected, notice this option, associate BOM to drawing view, is grayed out. However, if you select the view, you can actually say hit bill of material, notice it's automatically selected to associate BOM to the drawing view, which is the top front right on the sheet. If we hit OK, it'll create our bill of material that's associated with that. If I select this view, I create a bill of material, it'll still be selected, front view on sheet 1. Notice it's a different BOM on inside of here. I don't have any details for this particular view, but you get the idea. So each item bubble knows how to handle its case. In this case, this frame set here is a door. It's going to show door 1. This wiring is going to be 2, and these tubes here will be 3 inside of that one. If I come over here, you'll notice this one will be number 4, this one will be number 1, because they're not linked, they're just duplicate parts inside of here. These frame members may be different settings. Anyways, it's pertaining to this particular bill of material. So you can get this type of behavior inside of here. The other nice thing that you can do is, in this case, these two are the same elements. Maybe they are the same elements. You can actually do BOM stacking, or if you can't see things, you can actually stack your item bubbles. So we know this 4 and 1 are related. We can go to either one of these, and we can go and say, if you right click on it, you can say add item. And what that allows you to do, it brings up the BOM, and you pick what element you want to add to it. We want to add 4 or multiple ones. We can pick as many as we want, and it adds it as a stacked item bubble relationship. So we no longer need that. To highlight that, we're just calling out this guy as 4 and 1 are the same. You can also edit the properties of this to change how these are stacked. These are stacked horizontally. You can also do it vertically. Which way do you want it, up or downwards? If we say downwards in this case, hit OK, it'll stack down as we add things to it. So a nice enhancement to add stacked item bubbles to your drawings. Another improvement that we've added was the ability to enhance your text strings For example, let's just go ahead and save this drawing. We'll just call this our drawing as a fence ICD. Sounds good, and it's labeled as fence.icd. If we now go and add a text element, we'll just go down here, draw a text box, something like that, a little bit in there, and we'll go into its properties. And we've always could go through the current document or scene specified in the drawing if you wanted to call up the scene. In reality, we would call up the scene for the file, but we're just going to use the current document. And one of the options that we had was the file name. So if you go ahead and add the drawing file name or scene file name, whatever one you want, notice this option here, show file extension for the name property. That's what the default behavior was. So if you hit OK to this, you'll see that it labels this guy fence.icd. Most people don't want that ICD information inside of there, so you can now actually go back into those properties. There is when you create these elements, you can turn these off and say OK, and if when those updates inside of there, notice it now just shows that fence, even though it's got the ICD extension name in there. So very handy feature. So you can set up your templates with calling out, for example, the first part or assembly on the view, or whatever specified in your sheet set up as the first view here, or specified document, whichever one you want, and then your title block would automatically populate with that information and would nix the ICD or ICS extension file name on that. Some other things that were enhanced inside of here for things like your detail views and things like that. When you put your labels on inside of here, you have your scale and your names that you can actually underline, primarily just your name. So for example, it says detail. A lot of users or customers have a requirement that they need to have the detailed name underlined. Same thing for a section view. I don't really have a good part to a section, but if you have a section and you show the name, you can actually underline the section line name in there as well. Another enhancement that's not yet in this version of the beta is the ability to place center marks based on feature information. So if you go, for example, if we go back to our view creation file here, one example that's a really good example is your slots. If you build your slots up, notice your anchor is in the center here. So if we space this and draw this, a lot of times people want to have a center mark to call out this particular slot, particularly right in the middle of the file, not on these two arcs here. Typically in our system, we can call out a center mark here and a center mark here on the drawing. What we have enhanced, it sort of works like sheet metal if you're familiar with it, the punch centers. We're using the anchor information, so as long as the anchor is in the center, or you can move it to wherever you like, but wherever that anchor is for that particular feature, when you go to the drawing, you'll be able to call out a command when you create center marks, or it might be a new command altogether, but when you create the center mark, you can actually use the feature information to draw it, which is nice. So now you can get any type of feature that you want, whether it's a slot, a custom profile shape that you need to call out the center for that, or punching location, whatever you want, you can use the anchor to do that, which is really handy on any type of geometry shape. So those are some of the improvements for the ICD that's coming along in 2016 PU1, and I hope everyone enjoys.